off them last night.
Oh, that's never good.
Yeah,
When you sleep on your glasses, you take a chance of breaking them.
I know. I woke up like laying and I felt something on my leg. I was like, what's on my leg? Then I felt my glasses on my
Well, it's
leg.
good that you didn't feel just a piece of your glasses on your leg.
They were all in one piece. I put them on to make sure they weren't bent. They were fine.
That's good. Oh, hey guys. Don't push your feet with that thing. You're here for another ActionFeatures.net Comics Weekend Review. This is for releases from...
A bunch of times.
No, well, I want to get all the weeks right though. It was 3rd, 2nd, 1st.
It's February 1st.
31st, 30th? January 30th probably? Well, I'll get it right when I do the title of the video.
And then some older comics.
And then Blaze has got a few older comics that he read. So let's hop right into it. These are the books that I picked up and read this week. Blaze didn't read any current books this week. You only read some back issues.
I read a few of those. I caught up on Thor.
Yeah, you caught up on Marvel Now Thor. We've already discussed those issues.
Right.
But you said it was okay. You
Yes,
don't like
I'm
it as much as I
not
do.
a huge fan of young Thor.
I think young Thor's awesome.
It's alright. I like old Thor.
Yeah, old man Thor's really cool.
And then modern Thor.
Yeah.
Also, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a different kind of... Well, we'll talk about Thor when we get to Thor. Avengers issue 4. Now, we just did Avengers issue 3 last week. This is 2 weeks in a row they put this book out. All the scheduling is kind of weird right now. I guess they're doing a lot of catch up, and they had a lot of issues ready to go. Yeah, you stopped after issue 3. Yeah, you're going to start doing Avengers Assemble. Well, in this issue, they're kind of dealing with the repercussions of that whole, people, that alien race taking over that other planet and sending these pod seedling things down to Earth. But almost the entire issue just kind of revolves around Hyperion, and like where Hyperion came from, and stuff about Hyperion, which I really don't care much about Hyperion.
I know a superpower.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, being hyper.
No, that's your superpower. So it was, I don't know, it just wasn't very good. The art was by Adam Kubert this time around, which he wasn't on the first 3 issues, it's somebody else. So I dug the art, but other than that, I'm not that interested in non-mainstay Avengers. Just like with the Justice League book back in the day, I wanted Justice League to be the big 7. I'm not really interested in kind of extra characters and stuff. Yeah, like Batman.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just interested in the Avengers being like the Avengers team, almost like from the movie right now.
Right.
With the addition of, like, Black Panther and Vision, just mainstay Avengers.
Kind of like Avengers Assemble?
Yeah, like Avengers Assemble is.
At the beginning, it was all the Avengers, but then Cap said, I think it might have been Iron Man said, okay,
we need to get bigger.
Yeah. We need to get shorter.
No, we need to get
Avengers
bigger.
Assemble.
We need to get shorter?
Yeah, they cut off a bunch of members of the team.
What are you talking about?
Avengers Assemble. When I first read it, like, they were on stage, all of them were, and there was Red Hulk, Spider-Woman, Spider-Man, there was a bunch
of... yeah, I don't know that he said shorter or not, I can't remember.
I know he didn't say shorter, those were his exact words, but he cut down the team.
Why are we talking about that?
I don't know.
Alright, let's keep going. I didn't put them in alphabetical order this time, I usually do that. Hang on, let me see. I might have already messed up. I didn't mess up. Let's see.
Oh, man.
That's still the first one.
Let's see.
You don't have to worry about yours in alphabetical order.
I know, I just wanted to see if I can.
Alright, sorry about that, guys. Alright, next up is Hawkeye issue 7. This is not a Marvel Now book, but everybody kept saying how great this book was. So I went back and picked up the first few, and then I've been picking it up currently. This is a great book.
It is?
Yeah, this is written by Matt Fraction. Ordinarily, the art is by, I think it's pronounced Aja. It's A-J-A, something A-J-A is his last name. The art really reminds me of, you don't know who this is, but Dave Mazzucchelli, who did Batman Year One. His art usually reminds me of that. This issue has a different artist. It's got Steve Lieber and the last name of Ham. I don't know who the other guy is. Steve Lieber, who does the first half of the book, at first I didn't realize it was a different artist because he does such a good job of matching that Aja's art. But then the second artist pulled in and it's like, whoa, that's a different artist. And he does an okay job of matching that style, just not as good as the other one. This book kind of revolves around Hurricane Sandy and the repercussions of that around the neighborhood. The whole book is centered around Hawkeye's life when he's not an Avenger. And he lives in this building with all these other people that kind of know he's Hawkeye, and they call him Hawk Guy, and his interactions with those people, and just like the kind of crazy stuff that happens in his town. It's a great book. I love this book. It's really well written. Hawkeye is a fantastic character. I can't get enough of this book. Great art, great writing.
Is that purple suit Hawkeye, or is it like kind of Avengers?
It's more like Avengers movie suit Hawkeye.
Kind of like Avengers Assemble, how he looked.
Yeah, kind of like that. And there's a female Hawkeye, I guess, that took over when Hawkeye was supposedly dead or something. I don't really know a lot about her, but she's in the book too. And she doesn't want to be called his sidekick, but they kind of work together. They got a very funny relationship. There's a lot of humor in this book. Really, really good book. And this one is, like I said, just kind of dealing with Hurricane Sandy. Hawkeye goes with one of the other people in his apartment complex, or in his building. He goes to go help that guy's dad, who refuses to leave his home during Hurricane Sandy. And then a flood happens. And then meanwhile, the female Hawkeye, she gets into trouble and has to go help these people get this medicine for this lady who's trapped in a building. And it's just an all-around great book. I love Hawkeye every month. It's a great, great book. I started reading it, I think, with issue 4, and then I got caught up and then followed it each month.
Is it that Marvel Now book? It says...
No, it's not a Marvel Now book.
Oh.
It just says Join the Revolution. They'll actually say Marvel Now on them. Were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. Punisher Nightmare issue 5, the final issue of the series. Each time we talk about this book, I've been like, it's okay, it's not really my cup of tea, it's got good art, yada yada yada. I actually liked issue 5, because it really dealt more with Punisher than it did with Johnny Nightmare, who ends up being the villain of this piece. And it kind of had some good moments, just Punisher moments, of him figuring out a way to take out this guy. Not that I'm telling you he took him out, I'm just saying figure out a way to do it. And then it just kind of ends with a good kind of Punisher moment with him thinking about his family and stuff like that. I wouldn't say it's a great series overall. I would, I wouldn't even know if I'd recommend a trade. Maybe just look at this issue and see if you think this looks good and then go for the other ones. What were you going to say?
I was going to say something, but I realized that it was probably wrong.
What's that?
That was the female Hawkeye his kid from Young Avengers, but I know
No.
it wasn't.
I don't really know a lot about who the female Hawkeye is, but she's cool, she's funny. Punisher Warzone. Now this is the other Punisher book that's been going on that I've kind of enjoyed. However, this issue takes it way beyond any kind of like logic that I would have about this series.
Right.
It's the Avengers are hunting him down. He had this whole situation where I guess this female kind of partner he had at some point is on trial and she's going to be found guilty. The last issue, Thor tried to talk him down. That's what the whole Thor thing was. They just basically talked the whole time. And now this time around, she's going to be taken away. She's been found guilty, and they all think the Punisher's going to go rescue her. So the entire Avengers team is kind of there to kind of stop him because they know he's coming. It's almost like a trap for Punisher that they're going to use her as bait. But Punisher, and I don't want to spoil anything about this book, but Punisher does something that's unbelievable in this book. And I'm going to say it next week, that would never, ever happen with one of the main Avengers. It just wouldn't happen. I'll tell you later. Nobody dies, anything like that. But when I read it as it was happening, I was going, that wouldn't happen. Punisher can't do that.
I was about to say, no, not Cap.
No.
Okay.
It's nothing like that. I'll tell you after it's done. But I'll discuss it next week, but I don't want to spoil it since it's a brand new book, if somebody's really reading this book. We got one more issue to go. I'm kind of disappointed by the leap of faith. It's making Punisher into maybe a little too much in this issue. Like, okay, I know Punisher's cool, and I know he takes out the bad guys, but it takes it a step too far here.
Right.
So, we'll get to that, and I'll tell you what it was next week. The Shadow issue 9. As you all know, I'm a big fan of The Shadow. I don't know if we've reviewed a Shadow issue yet or not.
Yes, we have.
We have?
When we first did comic reviews, I did the Batman animated series comic, you did the first...
Oh, okay.
It wasn't these
I meant since these kind of reviews.
No.
Okay. Well, the Shadow book, it started off when it was having Garth Ennis writing it. I can't remember who did the art, but it might be the same guy, and I don't know his name. I'm sorry. And when it first started off, I wasn't that into the Garth Ennis writing. I thought it was going to be, but the focus was way too much on the villains and not nearly enough Shadow. This new writer, who, again, I'm sorry, it doesn't say it on the front, so I can't, just tell you. I guess I shouldn't have bagged it. This new writer seems like he gets it more, that people actually want to see the Shadow in the Shadow book. And this issue has with him going to Berlin and following kind of his mystic thoughts of where he should go, running into George Orwell, and seeing this old female from his past who's a villain, and a big plane fight. This is more like what I want the Shadow to be as opposed to the Garth Ennis run. So if you're with it with the Garth Ennis run and you didn't really enjoy it, you may want to go back and start picking it up again, because it seems like this guy gets what Shadow readers want to read as opposed to what Garth Ennis was writing.
Right.
Alright, this book is a reprint. Silver Surfer by Stan Lee and Mobius. This just came out this week.
Right.
It reprints an old 2-part series by Stan Lee and Mobius. about Silver Surfer and Galactus coming to Earth. I had never read this before, which is I'm almost ashamed to say, but I'd never read this. Stop doing that, please. I'm almost ashamed to say that I've never read it. Because it's like classic Galactus Silver Surfer story, but I just never gotten around to read it because I wasn't ever a huge Silver Surfer fan to the point where I'd need to go read everything. But it has to do with Galactus coming to Earth, and there's pretty much no heroes around anymore. Silver Surfer has gone into hiding because he's kind of ashamed of humanity and all these things. Galactus shows up, and he's not breaking his promise. He's not going to just destroy the Earth. He's kind of there, and he's going to make Earth destroy itself by having them believe he's some kind of deity or something. And this evangelist comes on, and he thinks that he's a deity and thinks he'll be able to way to have power. It was really good writing. I mean, it was really nice philosophical writing by Stan Lee, and it showed kind of mankind just wanting to follow somebody. Great art by Moebius. This is a classic story. I'm glad I finally got around to reading it. And if you've never read it, this is a good way to pick it up. It's $8 for both issues. It's got a bunch of interviews with Moebius at the end, telling it and going into how he made the art or how he wrote how he and Stan Lee got together and how Stan Lee wrote it and the whole process and his art and everything. This is really cool. I'm really glad I picked it up. I got two more.
Oh,
go ahead.
With my toys, the other day, at Marvel Universe, I actually was doing a thing where the Avengers were gone, but Silver Surfer was still there.
Oh, that's cool.
Like there was.
He's super powerful. So, I mean, he can take care of things.
But Galactus can also take care of things with the
That's
villains.
true. That's true. Here we go. Superior Spider-Man #2.
Horrible?
I did not enjoy this at all. I haven't even been reading Spider-Man. I haven't been connected to Spider-Man for a long time. I used to love him as a kid. I loved him all through my teenage years, and then the writing just got so bad. But I am so ready for Doc Ock to not be Spider-Man, just based on this issue alone. The whole issue is basically him trying to get with MJ, and get MJ to be with him, and him to have this relationship with MJ. And the entire time, the Peter Parker ghost now, which basically Peter Parker is now there as a spirit that nobody can see or hear, and he's the entire time going, "Oh, don't you do it, Doc Ock! Don't you do it! Oh man, you're making me so mad!" And it's just ridiculous. It's just a ridiculous thing that's going on. And Doc Ock's doing his thing as Spider-Man. And there's even points where Spider-Man, the ghost of Peter, is saying things like, "Oh, come on, man! I can't believe nobody knows this isn't me!" And it's just ridiculous. I'm so ready for it to be over. I want to read Spider-Man again as a Marvel Now book, but I don't want it to be Doc Ock Spider-Man.
Right.
Literally, almost the entire issue is just him trying to get with MJ. I really don't remember anything else in the issue other than that, the entire issue.
You know how there's a free
Free digital copy? Yeah.
There was one for Superior Spider-Man. That's one I do not want you to get me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I usually put them in mine since we have the same account for iTunes. Blaze saying, whenever I get my digital copies, I usually put them on his too. But you don't want the Superior Spider-Man ones. Okay, that's cool. XMen Legacy #5. Now we first, early on when we started doing these videos again, I talked about how XMen Legacy, I think it's kind of a sleeper hit of the bunch. It's a book about Legion, Charles Xavier's son, and him accessing all these powers. It's kind of got two things going on in one, him in the real world and him inside his mind. This issue brings a lot of stuff together. You find out who the character with the eyes was that was kind of manipulating things and sending him certain ways. You follow up on the two kids he rescued and how they're at the Xavier Mansion. There was a female mutant called Blindfold, I think her name was, who was there, and she was having a psychic link with Legion a couple issues ago, and he had this kind of a moment with her, and she thought she was destined to be his arch nemesis, and them getting together, and him trying to help her because she's kind of in a coma now after the whole thing, and him having to get back into the X-Mansion basically as a spirit form to contact her, and then we find out who the Eye character was. And a lot of background on that Blindfold character, which I don't know anything about. I'm assuming she's part of that Wolverine and the X-Men story. But you find out almost her entire origin in this. Hi, Cringer. This was a really good book. It really gets things together. We're still with that other artist, Jorge Molina, I think it is, who's still good. I don't like him as much as the guy that was originally on the book. I'm thoroughly enjoying this book. I didn't think I would, but every month I'm enjoying it more and more. And now that the stories come together and we find out who's who, I'm really digging it. What?
Last week I said, what about X-Men Uncanny? Wait, Uncanny...
Uncanny X-Men?
Yes.
Yeah. Uncanny X-Force?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I said, wasn't this a book that you thought you were going to like, but it was that one.
Oh, it was XMen Legacy?
Yes.
Ah, okay, yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Alright, what did you read?
I read,
Blaze dug into his comic box, which he has a lot of comics in there that he hasn't gone through and read yet. So he went through and read some this week, because he has a little free time.
Wait, this is a trade, right?
It's not a trade, it's a special. You've got the Turtles, Heroes in a Half Shell, 100-page spectacular from IDW.
Read.
I read this, I think, as a kid.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because this is a reprint of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventure series from Archie. It's a reprint of those, I think it's 3 issues put together in one. But it's been since I was a kid that I read it, probably since I was your age.
The story is Splinter is going after Shredder, trying to become a human again, because he had like this gun thing that turned him into that, and he's about to aim at like the turtle Shredder is.
Yeah.
But he had to break. So Splinter had to break the gun, and so he couldn't turn back into human.
Yeah.
And then they defeat the Shredder. It was a good read.
It was good? You liked it? Yeah, I used to love the Archie Turtle series. The thing I really liked about it, I think the art is by Mike Dooney, yeah. Mike Dooney draws really good Ninja Turtles, I think. I really like the way he draws them.
Great.
So you liked this?
Yes.
It's a pretty good deal, too. $8 for 100 pages for 3 issues. Same as the cost of that Silver Surfer. What else did you read?
I wrote the first issue of the Infinity Gauntlet.
Infinity. You always say that.
I know. I can't pronounce it.
This is actually the 3rd issue.
It is?
Yeah, that's issue 3. This came with your Adam Warlock and
Thanos
2-pack. And it reprinted Infinity Gauntlet issue 3. I have the whole trade of this, but what do you think so far? Is this, you think, a book that you would want to read the rest of?
Yes, it definitely is. I think it's a great book. It's like, I guess it would be the Avengers and like the cosmic heroes.
Yeah.
Kind of teaming up, but there's like a bunch of cosmic villains that have teamed up and stuff. And it was a really good read.
You liked it?
Yes.
I'll let you read the rest of the trade. I really like the original Infinity Gauntlet miniseries as well. And I think you'll like it once you read the trade. So maybe next time around you'll have read the trade. I'm going to put your books over here, if you don't mind. And you got one more. What else you got?
I don't think you've read that, have you?
I have not read this. Well, it's a reprint. See, Marvel Tales is a book that reprints old comics. So I don't really know what issue this reprints of Spider-Man. Let me see if it maybe tells. I don't know. But this is Marvel Tales featuring Spider-Man, issue 265. This is one we got at Half Price Books. What did you think of this? It looks like it's Red Skull and Spider-Man.
It was a great issue.
You liked it?
So, Richard Parker, Peter's dad, is supposedly working for the Skull, and Spider-Man's trying to figure out more about it. So he gets one of the Skullsmen to talk, and it was Red Skull is the one that had a trap for his dad and killed his father.
Yeah.
Because he had some kind of secret. His mother did, I think.
Yeah.
And so they died, and so Spider-Man got one of the Skullsmen to talk about it, like tell him the information, and so that was basically it. It was a good read.
That's cool. Looks like John Romita was a co-plotter. Larry Lieber was pencils. Yeah, I don't know what issues this reprints. Maybe, was this the end of the story, though? Was this part 2? Yeah, it looks like it was probably the end of the story right here. It looks like everything probably wraps up. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you picked up the back issue and checked it out.
I liked it.
And you love Red Skull, so that's a perfect pickup for you. I didn't read any trades or anything this week. That was pretty much it. It was kind of a light week for comics for me. Definitely a light week for you since you're able to read back issues. All right, so we'll sign off here, and we'll see you again next week. Keep on reading them comics.